Morning, everyone. It's Dr. G. I hope you're doing well today. This is a screencast tutorial to help you understand how to get ready to prep your data for the analysis Titanic assignment we're doing in class. The first thing that I want you all to make sure you've already done is to ensure you have the Excel Analyzer pack loaded onto your laptop or PC. If you are using a Mac, I have just completed a video to help show you how to do that. If you're using a laptop with a PC, those instructions are also in Canvas. So please make sure that you have that loaded onto your computer in Excel prior to doing this assignment. So this assignment that I'm going to help you get prepared for is the assignment number 5, where we are looking at analyzing the Titanic survivors database. So the first thing that I want you to do to get ready to start to prep for this particular analysis is get into Canvas, go into your course. This is Marketing Research 4100. I want you to navigate to the modules, and then once you've gotten to the module, scroll down to module number 5. See how we're getting to the close? We're almost to the finish line here. Now we are going to start analyzing our information. So this particular assignment that we're working on now, assignment number 5, is Titanic data analysis. This is an individual assignment. You won't be working on this as a team. Everything that you need to know about this assignment when it's due, instructions, if you click right in here in Canvas, I have it outlined for you, step by step, what you need to do. This particular assignment is really important for you to complete because the steps that we're going to be taking to analyze the Titanic database will be the same types of statistical analysis that you'll be doing when you receive your data back from the surveys that you have out in the field currently. And this is going to help you create the statistical analysis that you need to complete your final research paper. So let's take a look here. So if you go into that module and scroll down here, you'll see that I just showed you. This is where you're going to upload your assignment when we're done. However, this particular screencast is designed to help you get started. So all of the files you're going to need for this assignment are loaded right here. I had mentioned earlier you've got the tool pack, introduction, instructions on how to make sure that you have the analysis tool loaded onto your PC or your Macintosh. What I want you to start off with today is there's 2 different things. The first thing is this file right here called the Titanic Coded Database. This is all of the data you're going to need to run all of the analyses for this assignment. Now, I want you to also note that we have some worksheets here that we're going to be working on in class that will help you navigate through how to complete this analysis. So the first thing I want you to do right here is open up this document that says Titanic Activity Descriptives.doc. This is the first step that you're going to do in completing assignment number 5. This is one of 3 worksheets that we'll be working on to get you through this assignment on analyzing the Titanic database. So if you scroll through here, I've got some pretty step-by-step instructions on how you're going to go about creating this database and analyzing it. So the first thing that I want you to notice here is that I am asking that you review this coded data table. We are going to be using the Titanic data, actual data from passengers on the ship. And that particular data is in an Excel sheet. So let's go ahead and go back into Canvas. Now that you have this worksheet open, I want you to go and cursor back to this list of files for assignment number 5. I want you to first of all open up this Titanic coded data, download it, open it up, and you'll see here that we have all of the data that you're going to need for this particular analysis. So I want you to look at the worksheet while we're doing this. You'll notice that we have different variables here on the worksheet for the database of the Titanic passengers. So each one of these rows here is a particular passenger. And what I have done is I've created a code book so that you can understand what each of these variables mean and how they are coded, because we are going to use the coding and the response options as in our analysis. So let's take a look here. We have on your open data file, we have state. So remember, each one of these rows is a particular passenger. I didn't put an ID on here because I didn't really think it was necessary for our analysis, but generally you would have some sort of code so that you would know which passenger was which. So as you look through our worksheet here, you'll be able to see from the data set that we have a variable called state. And this particular variable, it's a categorical binary variable, meaning there's only 2 options. And those options are, the state means, did they live or did they die? If it is number 1, they lived. If it is number 2, they died. So that's what we're looking at here. In each one of these rows is the variables, or a little description, you can think about it, as that particular passenger. So as you go through and look at this, we have, let's say, passenger number 1 here. The state is they live or died. We can see here it's a number 1, they lived. Now let's look at what class they're in. So if you look at the variable name or the column of class, this is telling us this is the class of the ticket the passenger purchased. So in the case of the Titanic, there were 3 different classes. First class, meaning, you know, the fancy pants swank class, like you would have on an airplane, first class. Second class, sort of the middle of the road, probably the middle of the ship. And then third class, which is the least expensive ticket, and these people were at the bottom of the ship. So you can see here for our person number 1, they were in first class. We know that they lived because they have a 1. They were in first class. And then we can go to gender. If you look at gender here, it's either 1 for a female or 2 for a male. So we know in this case, this passenger number 1 was a female. And then if you go to age, this female was 29 years old. And so there's one other column here called age range. And basically what I had done for this particular analysis was I took all of these different ages and put them into ranges, because at some point in time I'd like to see frequencies of people who died in certain age ranges. So that was just a simple way for me to take people's ages and put them into ranges. So that's the first thing you need to understand, is what each of these variables mean and how these are coded. Because in this case you've got number 2 under state, so we know this person died. This person was also in first class because they have a 1. They were female. It's coded as number 1. Oh, and it was a little one, only 2 years old. So unfortunately, the 2-year-old didn't make it. Very sad. So this is how you're going to read your data from your table. This is why we create a data table, and you will do that for your own surveys for your project, your final project, not this particular analysis, but for your final project. So you've already done this. You've opened up the Titanic database in Excel. And the next thing that I want you to do, once you have this open, is I want you to save this file on your computer using the following naming convention. So I want you to save this file as your first initial, last name, underscore Titanic. So let's do that right away. We're going to go into here. I'm going to go into my file, save as. I'm going to name this K. Grayson underscore Titanic. So you are going to do this with your first initial, your last name, underscore Titanic. And make sure you save that file somewhere on your computer that you're going to be able to access easily for these assignments, because we're going to be using this particular assignment or this particular workbook over and over again. So you're going to name this. Whoops, it doesn't like my name. I'm going to try that again. I bet I already have one saved as that name. So I'm going to do Titanic code. I'm going to do K Grayson underscore Titanic underscore 2, because I already have one out there. It doesn't like that. All right, I had a number 2 as well, but okay, so there we go. That's the first thing I want you to do. The second thing that I want you to do, if you're following the instructions on the sheet here, you already have it named. As you can see up here, there's my name of my file. I want you to go to this first tab here, and I want you to code this worksheet in your tab as data. So simply go in there and type over data. I'm going to save this again, so you want to save this again. And so basically that is all I need you to do for this first, getting ready to get your database ready. So what we've done is we've opened up the Excel file. We've kind of familiarized ourselves with what each of these variables means. You've opened up the workbook that we're starting on, and you have renamed it, the file with your name, first, last, underscore Titanic, and you've changed this data, this tab, this workbook tab, to data. So that's what I need you to do to get started to analyze your information. So thank you, and the next tutorial I'm going to give you is how you go about analyzing descriptive statistics. So